gonna share this, David.
That's all right. Might just help out.
Let's take a minute, if we could, with a moment of silence. One of my favorite things that my wife and I do every couple of years is we go to the community in southern France called Taizé, and we are with a couple of thousand people, and we spend 10 minutes 3 times a day in silence. That's a very interesting experience. And most of the people at that meeting are young people under age 21. It's quite remarkable. Well, I'm looking around, and we definitely have a quorum tonight. We have 8 people here tonight. So that's good news. And once again, I apologize for the lack of the quorum the last time we met, causing some of you to have to leave and then travel back here. So I'm grateful that we're so well represented. Thank you all, Board of Adjustment members, for joining us tonight. We have an agenda in front of us that we need to adopt. And so we need to adopt these, this agenda is presented. And so could I receive a motion to adopt this agenda as presented? Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. What is this? Oh, okay, so this is the written order that was also in our packet. Next is our adoption of today's the adoption of the minutes from the previous meeting on September 25.
It's all one thing. Yeah.
Again, are there any corrections or additions to the minutes that have been presented? If not, could I receive a motion to adopt these minutes as presented? We have a motion. Is there a second? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So ordered. Now we have a written order of approval. I think all of us have just been presented this written order for the Virginia Road, 167 Virginia Road. This was the special use permit written order that we covered when we were together back in September. And so this was approved, and this is what our township attorney and our zoning administrator have produced for us. And so we need to approve this written order for a special use permit for the Grant Dasher property. Let's see, I need to receive a motion to approve this written order of approval. Is there a second? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So ordered. All righty, we're moving right along to our I just wanted to check to see if there's any ex parte communication relating to any of the 3 items that we're going to talk about tonight that any of you guys could speak to or acknowledge. We have 3 variances, Bill.
I called Lila Ray just to see what she felt about the lot next door to her.
Okay.
I won't say what she said unless you want me to. I called Lila Ray, who's a good friend, and just to see what she thought about that setback movement on the lot next to her. And I won't say what she said unless you want me to. I'll be happy to. She said she had no objection.
Okay. Any others? Ex parte communications? We discovered in a previous administration of the Board of Adjustment how important ex parte communications are, so we need to acknowledge those. Let's see, what else? Brandon, did you want to say something about conflict of interest tonight? I had gotten that in an email. Was that something you were interested in speaking to?
Do we have the board's conflict of interest statement that is typically read? We could pull that up and either you read it or I can.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing well. So-
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I forgot to pull that up, so I don't have it in front of me. But I just want to read the conflict of interest statement that is typically read when the board meets.
But you don't have that tonight, so we're not going to read it?
No, he's just pulling it up right
Oh,
now.
okay, okay.
Sorry for the delay.
Sure. We'll wait until we can get that up. Time for a Tootsie Roll break. It's good enough. It's a little sugar.
I can read it if you want.
Preparation for
There's
Halloween.
even one for Bill.
Just start on this. Okay.
Don't pay attention.
All right. I'm going to ask the Board of Adjustment a series of questions to help determine if any board member needs to recuse themselves from the matter due to a conflict of interest. Have any of you discussed with any member of the Board of Adjustment, A, the project or property at issue, B, the variance applications at issue, C, the quasi-judicial hearing, D, the applicant, E, the opposition? If their answer is no, we'll move to the next question. If the answer is yes to any of the above, then I'll ask the board to describe in detail those actions, and you did do that. If the discussions are significant, then the board members must recuse themselves from the quasi-judicial hearing. If the board member refuses to recuse themselves, the remaining board members shall, by majority vote, rule on whether the board member shall be excluded from participation in the quasi-judicial hearing.
I think you can skip to the question.
Okay. Do any of you have a fixed opinion prior to hearing the variances that is not susceptible to change?
No.
No.
Cool. All right. Great. Next, I'm going to ask you about any ex parte communications with any party to this matter. Ex parte communications are communications between an interested party and any member of the Board of Adjustment. Ex parte communications may be in writing or oral. I would ask that you disclose all ex parte communications regardless of how long ago the communication may have been or how limited or insignificant you believe the ex parte communication may be. First, I will ask you about ex parte communications with the applicants and those related to or affiliated with the applicants, and then about ex parte communications with the opposition and those related to or affiliated with the opposition. Anyone related to or affiliated with the applicants would include, but would not be limited to, the applicants, any employee, consultant, expert, agent, or representative of the applicant's legal counsel, and any witnesses the applicants have identified will be called to testify in this hearing. Anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition would include, but would not be limited to, the applicants, any employee, consultant, expert, agent, or representative of the opposition's legal counsel, and any witnesses the opposition has identified will be called to testify in this hearing. It says, I have provided you with a list of witnesses identified by the applicant and the opposition for your review. I don't think we have a list.
I don't think we have a list, but if anyone knows of any witnesses or any applicants that are appearing before the board tonight, that is who you should think about when you're thinking about this question. Mr. Shy has already done that. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. I guess I'll continue. I'll ask each of you, have any of you had ex parte communications with the applicants or anyone related to or affiliated with the applicants regarding the project or property at issue?
No.
No.
As much as we may have wanted to.
guys did a good job. B, the applicants or anyone related to or affiliated with the applicants regarding the variance application at issue.
No.
No.
No,
No.
okay. The applicants or anyone related to or affiliated with the applicant regarding the quasi-judicial hearing.
No.
No.
The opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition regarding the project or property at issue.
No.
No.
The opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition regarding the variance applications at issue.
No.
No.
The opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition regarding the quasi-judicial hearing.
No.
No.
All right. So it says, if the answer is no to all, we'll move to the next question. It goes on for a little bit. This might be the longest part. Close familial relationships is the next. Next, I will ask you about any close familial relationships you may have with the applicants or opposition. A close familial relationship, for purposes of this question, means a spouse, parent, child, brother, sister, grandparent, or grandchild. It includes all step, half, and in-law relationships. With those definitions in mind, do any of you have a close familiar relationship with A, the applicant, or anyone related to the affiliated with the applicants?
No.
No.
The opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition?
No. No.
Any other person that may be affected by the variances at issue?
No.
No.
Okay, we can move to the next question. I think let me see, we're on number 5. There are 7 questions. We're almost there, don't worry. All right, number 5. Next, I will ask you about business relationships you may have with the applicants or opposition. Do any of you or your spouse or partner have a business relationship with A, the applicants, or anyone related to or affiliated with the applicants?
No.
No.
The opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition?
No.
No.
Any other person that may be affected by the variances at issue?
No.
No.
Fantastic. We are moving to number 6. Next, I will ask you about associational relationships you may have with the applicants or opposition. There's no specific definition of associational relationships, but examples could include being a member of the applicant, opposition, being a friend or neighbor of the applicant, opposition, participating in events hosted by the applicant, opposition, being on a sports team with the applicant, opposition, being an employee of the applicant or opposition, serving on a board for the applicant, opposition. Do you or your spouse partner have an associational relationship with A, the applicants or anyone related to or affiliated with the applicants?
No. No.
The opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition?
No. No.
Any other person that may be affected by the variances at issue?
No.
Great. I'm moving to 7. All right. Finally, I will ask you questions about whether you have any financial interest in the outcome of the variance applications or the quasi-judicial hearing. Do any of you or your spouse partner have any financial interest in A, the outcome of the variance application?
No.
No.
The outcome of the quasi-judicial hearing?
No.
No.
The project or property at issue?
No.
No.
The success of the applicant?
No.
No. No.
Success of the opposition?
No.
No.
The success of any other person affected by the variances at issue?
No.
No.
Do you or your spouse partner have any ownership interest in A, the applicants or anyone related to or affiliated with the applicants?
No.
No.
B, the opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition?
No.
No.
C, any other person that may be affected by the variances at issue?
No.
Have any of you or your spouse partner ever made charitable contributions or other financial contributions to the applicants or anyone related to or affiliated with the applicants?
No.
B, the opposition or anyone related to or affiliated with the opposition?
No.
No.
C, any person that may be affected by the variances at issue?
No.
If you answered no to all, you are done.
Is this something we need to do every time we have a variance hearing?
Yes.
Ooh. Is there, well, maybe we can find a way.
Nicely.
We can work on an abbreviated procedure, but it is extremely important that we have that analysis at every meeting and that everyone is super serious about potential conflicts of interest. It's a huge source of liability.
Yeah, just wondering if we could simplify it in any way and still do that, but. Okay, we are now moving into our 3 variance requests. The first one is 536 Calvin Trail, and we would have an introduction now by our zoning administrator. Interim zoning administrator, sorry.
Do we need to swear anyone in for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody who would be making a presentation on this, we're going to swear in individually each application, each zoning application. So anyone involved in the 536 Calvin Trail, any witnesses, any person seeking standing, if you would come to.
As they come up to speak, they'll just be sworn when they're at the podium.
Okay, good. So
Let's
wait then, let's wait, and let's hear the zoning administrator,
Yeah, I get to be the first one sworn in.
and then we'll come forward.
Do you swear to tell the truth? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. All right, if 536 Calvin Trail, first one could be pulled up, fantastic, thank you so much. A variance request was submitted by Wade Burns on behalf of property owner Graceful Blessings LLC for the lot addressed as 536 Calvin Trail, Mon Street, North Carolina, 28711, and described as PIN number 072009848300000, located on Calvin Trail approximately 36 feet west of Providence Terrace. The variance request is to Section 501.81 of the Montreat zoning ordinance to reduce the side setback requirement from 15 feet to 2 feet on the southern side of the subject property for the purpose of expanding the existing dwelling on the subject property. Next slide, please. Here's a subject property overview. The size is 1.12 acres, and current zoning and use is an R1 residential district, and it contains an existing dwelling. Next slide, please. The variance to Section 501.81 of the Montreat zoning ordinance is to reduce the side setback required on the southern side of the subject property from 15 feet to 2 feet on the subject property. So as you can see, the front setback is 30 feet, side north and south are 15 feet, and the rear is 35. So the only request is for the side south setback to be reduced from 15 feet to 2 feet. Next slide, please. The proposed expansion is highlighted in red. So you see the little block there. The closest corner is 2.2 feet from the property line. Calvin Trail is accessed by a driveway easement on the southwest corner. You can see that. Next slide, please. The property is surrounded on all sides by the R1 zoning district. There's a Montreat well house to the north and single-family residence adjacent to the property to the southeast. Next slide, please. The slope of the subject property per the Buncombe County steep slope calculator is 50.6%. The subject property slopes downward from north to south. The subject property would be subject to hillside development ordinance. There is no streams or special flood areas on the property. Next slide, please. All right, there's some more to read. The Board of Adjustment decision. The board shall grant a variance upon showing of all of the following. First, unnecessary hardship would result from the strict application of the ordinance. It shall not be necessary to demonstrate that in the absence of the variance, no reasonable use can be made of the property. The hardship results from conditions that are peculiar to the property, such as location, size, or topography. Hardships resulting from personal circumstances, as well as hardships resulting from conditions that are common to the neighborhood or the general public, may not be the basis for granting a variance. Next, the hardship did not result from actions taken by the applicant or the property owner. The act of purchasing property with knowledge that circumstances exist that may justify the granting of a variance shall not be regarded as a self-created hardship. D, the variance is consistent with the spirit, purpose, and intent of the ordinance, such as the public safety is secured and substantial justice is achieved. Next, the variance request is the minimum variance that will make possible the requested use of the land, building, or structure. And then finally, the variance is not a request to permit a use of land, building, or structure which is not permitted in the applicable zoning district. And that concludes my presentation.
And those are just the standards of the ordinance. I don't think you'll need to read those for every
Each time.
case.
I won't.
But those, we're pretty familiar, I think, with what's in the ordinance, but it's always good to have a refresher.
Thank you. The applicant, would you please come forward and be sworn in before you make your presentation? Yeah.
Wade Burns, 779 Foreman Siddick. ETJ, Montreal. I'm left-handed.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
Thank you all for your time. I know there's other things you could be doing. I have, since 1973, been a licensed architect in a series of states, but this is my home for the last 26 years. And my area has been as an architect planner, mostly working for towns. And in the 26 years I've lived here, I've served on planning and zoning and the Board of Adjustment, and maybe more than once on those. Montreat is, if nothing else, peculiar, geographically and with its boundaries. In these 50-some years I've been applying for zoning and variances, I've never heard the list of conflict of interest that was just read. I don't challenge it, but I can think of 12 people who couldn't quite possibly ever get a variance because they're kin to 2/3 of people in Montreat. And whether it's Lila Ray or any number of folks that might have kin, so it'd be hard not to have some kinfolk involved. When you're on this board, you're taking seriously your responsibility to be both fair to the applicant, but also the community. Not stretch some exception that's not warranted, where it by some measure may be harmful or just not in the best interest of the broader community. This application is the easiest one. I've had to make it a long time because they need exceptions on this side yard setback from 15 feet to 2, so they can add a room that's going to be mostly glass on the view side to fix something that's needed to be fixed for a long time. And now's the time, as these two preachers have moved full-time to be here. The house was built by a former president of the Mountain Trees Association. And since that time, and the, 10 years or so that the Deiberts family has owned it, they've continued what the former president of MRA intended, that it be the vacation home, but that also be supplemental housing for the work of the Mountain Retreat Association ministry. My wife has been the director of church relations for Montreat Conference Center. She's been there for 17 years. And her job is, for many of these years, has been making numbers. Can we get enough people attending here so that the institution can survive? This has nothing to do with what you're about to decide, but it's relevant. The Montreat Conference Center cannot provide enough housing for the people that need to come, that want to come. And so these housing is important. So this house has been modified and adopted through the years to continue that guest facilities. And it's been rented throughout these years so that guests could be here and attend these conferences. The downstairs of this house is the bulk of the bedrooms for the guests of this house. And because it's tucked into a steep slope, 50%, and even steeper as it was cut in to even create a footprint for a house, it's dank and dark. And so the open air side is what faces Graybeard Stream and a green space. And so they're asking permission to put this one room out from that space so that people on that floor can actually appreciate the incredible beauty of the stream down below. There is no issue about a neighbor being offended because the side yard setback would be, instead of 15 feet, 2 feet if you approve it, because it's a long, long way to another neighbor. It's also a long, long way to the road with all that green space. And you have the photographs. I hope some of you have been able to go by and see it, because that would really make your evaluation easier. And as you try and look at this to make sure you don't do something that is harmful for the community, or you worry about, was this setting a precedent? That's not such a challenge in Montreat because so few lots are the same as other lots. And so it becomes an individual situation. And so regarding these conditions, and this is, you should have this, but this is where it goes right here. And this is a pretty unattractive deck that's weathered out and needs to be redone. And so the addition just peeks out underneath that deck about 4 feet so that you can get glass all around and so forth. And with the construction of that, all the deck will be removed and replaced in the same location, but with contemporary decking that doesn't rot and with the invisible cable railing rather than the balusters so that there's a more natural look and so forth. And so that will fix a deficiency in the house. It would be an unnecessary hardship to deny that remedy, where that addition will have no negative impact of any measure on the community or any neighbor. The 31042B conditions that currently restrict the use and enjoyment of the living space are due to the percentage of the lot originally designated steep slope. It just is so much, 1.1 acres, and yet they're just squeezed down to where they are. And it's reasonable to be able to make that accommodation. D is the easiest of all. The spirit, purpose, and intent of the ordinance. And the very creation of Montreat share a common vision to provide an environment that not only protects but celebrates the natural beauty of Montreat and promotes Montreat as a gathering place of spiritual support for all ages. And that's what Montreat's about. That's what this house is about. and it would certainly be appropriate. The requested variance is a minimum variance that will make the requested use possible because the basement consists of these 4 bedrooms, kitchenette, and so forth, and they don't have they have a little narrow sitting area. They don't have a good space to enjoy. But the language sort of sounds kind of harsh. It's the minimum variance that will make requested use possible. That sounds like nobody should get anything. But our ordinances are not intended to be so harsh that we can't consider when this particular approval is in the best interest of all parties. F is mighty easy. Requested variance and proposed use is permitted in the applicable zoning district and perfectly consistent with its intent. Have a room with glass in it so you can see the beauty of the area. The Reverend Dr. Richard Dybert, MD, Doctor, I guess, wants to encourage you. The Reverend Elizabeth Dybert doesn't have 2 doctors with her Reverend, but she, of course, is the one that's the senior pastor in the churches they've been in, so she's the boss of all these things. And so Dr. Dybert would like to address you, and each of us would be available for any questions that you would have. But I'll
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
let him come and get sweared.
Dr. Dybert, would you come forward and be sworn in?
Mr. Chair, before that happens, is there anybody who has any questions for Mr. Burns? Are there any participants here today who would like to request standing for this application, or who have any questions for Mr. Burns? Okay. We just forgot to ask. Oh, that was my fault. I forgot.
For the audience or for the Board of Adjustment?
It would have been for people with standing, but
Okay.
I don't think that anyone is requesting standing, so I don't think it's an issue.
Great.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. I have just some exhibits, I guess you would say, a before and after when we bought the property, it's just passing, in the current state of the property. And then I have 6. I'm going to be 6 on.
So you can pull it out.
Were you Mr. Marquis?
No.
No, I'm Richard Dybert. I'm confused. So you have a time of purchase photo and then a current photo, and then you have a set of illustrations and photos to help you understand the nature of the variance request. I'm Richard Dybert with Elizabeth, owners of 536 Calvin Trail. Mr. Moderator, friends of the board, and thank you for your time and your wisdom. For Elizabeth and me, this variance is essentially a matter of Christian stewardship. How is God calling us to care for the gifts we've been given so that these gifts testify to the beauty of Jesus Christ and his love for all people? We are no strangers to Montreat. Elizabeth has been visiting Montreat every year since she was wetting the bed. I blessedly married into that tradition 40 years ago, and we hauled our 4 children to Montreat annually. And now our children's spouses and their children, as the tradition spreads across generations. Moreover, Elizabeth and I have introduced group after group from the 2 PCUSA New Church developments we have served during our 35 years of ordination. It was in our seminary days at Columbia in Atlanta
that we first started dreaming of property in Montreat. And 10 years ago, we stumbled upon the house built by the Reverend Bill Peterson in 1985, then the executive director of the conference center, buried in the woods at the end of Calvin Trail, just above the old hydroelectric ruins, adjacent to the campground gate, and affectionately known, and still known, as 1 Acre Wood. As you can see from the 2 frame photos, the house was dark and hidden up a gravel drive behind an unmanaged thicket of green space alongside 150 yards of Flat Creek. It had been on the market for months, probably because it was unattractive and barely visible. However, we immediately recognized the extraordinary setting, and with my late brother Don, we purchased the home from the McGeechern family of Wilmington. Over the past 10 years, we have been renting and renovating. Without a doubt, the greatest treasure of this property is its nesting in the theater of trees surrounding Flat Creek. And our greatest joy has been to expose family and church groups, thousands of renters over the 10 years, to the serene majesty of one of Montreat's most glorious green spaces. To fulfill this joy, over the 10 years, we have spent more than $15,000 managing the beauty of this green space so that guests of the house and of the adjacent campground can access it for viewing, hiking, rock hopping. We have continually cleared the space, the green space of dead wood, limbed trees, extracted invasive species, and we have removed buckets and buckets of dangerous fallout from the hydroelectric ruin. Glass, ceramic fragments, rusty iron pieces, as well as cleared Flat Creek of asphalt, pipes, and all manner of storm debris. Having just retired from pastoral ministry and hospice medical practice in Florida, and finally relocating to this house, we hope to make one final renovation. Replacement of the original deck, which is rotting and tilting forward due to separation of its concrete foundation from the house. And while we have the deck off, we hope to extend the basement room forward under the deck to more fully expose renters to the beauty of this green space. As you can see, the variance is required because the extension will encroach a few feet into the green space setback. Please note from the photos of the existing deck that the variance will in no way compromise or endanger the green space, nor will it encumber any neighboring property, as our closest neighbor is more than 2 football fields away. Currently, the 12 to 15 children, youth, and brave adults who rent the basement during retreats are literally kept in the dark back beneath the existing deck with minimal exposure to Flat Creek. As it stands, the basement is a place to escape from rather than a place to linger and relish Montreat's beauty. Approving this small variance will allow us to expose hundreds of visitors over the coming years to this rejuvenating theater of green space. As St. Paul says in his letter to the Colossians, all things in heaven and on earth have been created through Jesus Christ and for Jesus Christ. And in him, all things hold together. To steward the relationship that our guests have with Montreat's natural beauty is to steward their relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. That's why we are saying that Christian stewardship is the essential reason for requesting this variance. I thank you with Elizabeth for considering it.
I don't think we have any others who are wanting to make any testimony for this variance. Is there anyone else? No? Okay, so does the board have questions for either Mr. Burns or Dr. Dibert that you would like to?
I have one.
Okay.
I've heard and understand and receive everything you said about, wow, how outside is going to be more available to the people who are down there. But could you speak to your plans for other renovations you're going to be doing inside the house on that same level? Is there any other renovations planned for this project?
Yes, there will be on this side of the house, facing where you said, there'll be a screen porch that's added into the replacement deck out there. That'd be on the upper level. But that's basically it.
Okay. I'm more interested in the level that's going to have this glass front that extends so far. What else is going to go on down there? Are you going to because it's still back in the cave.
Yeah, so beside the new room is a solid masonry wall where the heat pumps and so forth are. And then the rest of it is, clouded by the mountainside. But one of the other things we're doing is when we remove the deck on this side, we will be digging out a better egress path for those basement rooms, so that in case of emergency, they have egress windows, that they'll be much bigger and the path will be much safer where they can readily get out in case there was a smoke alarm goes off, something like that. So we'll be making life safety improvements on that side that will all be underneath the replaced deck. Nobody will see it from anywhere, but it'll be a safer safety improvement.
Okay.
Ed? Oh, I'm sorry.
Better. Will this new driveway that you're going to put in, a new space you're going to put in, is that an impervious surface?
Well,
Tell us about that.
The only thing impervious would be it comes out. There's no driveway there.
There's no driveway there now?
No. Well, the driveway's other side of the house. So this is on the creek side of the house. And your driveway is between the house and the campground gate. So on your site plan, you see some great big driveway. A lot of it is easement on MRA property. So by the gate at the campground, that's MRA's property, so they have an easement to even get on their property.
Is that this rendering?
Yeah, so this driveway and parking is in the upper level. And then this lower level is grass.
Harrington. I got it.
Okay, this is a better picture.
Okay.
Arrington, does that get at your question? Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. Ed?
Just a few questions. This will be an all-season room?
Yes.
Okay. And will the room have access to the outside or strictly a viewing room?
Yes, and plus a door to go out.
There will be some doors on this new room? Okay. All right. And is this setback going to affect any trails or any hikers in the area? None at all? Come through?
No, not only not affected, but the Diberts have paid for some natural stone steps to go down to the old electric plant so that people can get on this, because it's got enough slope, it's something to walk on.
Okay.
So that's part of those improvements they've made in the green space.
Okay, one last question. Does this setback move the room closer to the stream?
Yes, it's 4 feet closer to the stream, but still a long way away from the stream.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's
Uh,
my question.
I'm sorry. I have one more picture to ask you about. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, that's right. The driveway goes up to the second level, and that little piece of driveway does go down, but it doesn't go in front of the house. It goes down toward the edge of the house, and they can walk upstairs to get to the front door. So that driveway stops before it gets to the house.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, please.
Just as a matter of clarification, and maybe Alexis, you can answer this for me. Why is this considered a single-parent family home? Why is this considered a single-family home when it's got, 15 renters? When it's open?
Well, there's no conflict there. It's a
I'm not
single-
looking at a conflict, I just want to understand it.
No, single family is the ownership. They make the home available for these guests, and Richard's late brother Don, we actually have a guest quarters that is separate where they can retreat to that.
Okay, that answers my question. I just wanted to know that.
Yeah.
One other thing that I wanted to mention, because of a personal experience up there today, I drove up today to be able to look at the property, and as I was backing and turning around, I was looking in my camera on the back of my car, and because everything is all the same color, I nearly went over the backside. So I just want to make that a point to y'all that you may want to put something there that's bright red so that you can see it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one other question.
I just want to clarify, thank you for that. We have been worried about driving off that driveway, and particularly since Flat Creek has no boundaries now on the reconstructed
Yep.
road, campers are coming very close to the edge of that drop. It's a sheer drop-off, 20 feet.
Scared me.
And it is very alarming, but they're going to do a sewer replacement from December 1 for 8 weeks of all of Calvin Trail, and I hope after that road will be paved and guardrails will be put up there, and we hope to put guardrails up to prevent
And maybe
that.
some things planted.
And planted things.
Anything to break up all that white color.
Absolutely, yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
thank you.
And on the fire, just to clarify the question about the egress, we have been very worried about the 3 back rooms in this house that have egress windows but up concrete chutes. And as you know, smoke kills people quickly. So getting these windows open, we have them labeled as fire escapes. Getting windows open and getting out in a safe way can be really challenging, even with egress windows. So what we are going to do is turn one room into a storage room. This is regarding what else is happening on that level. And then create a major egress and an easy concrete walkout for the back other 2 rooms under the deck. That's all, has nothing to do with the variance because it's in the back of the property. But we're glad to be able to feel better about a better fire escape in case of a smoke-filled problem in the basement, so.
My question was going to have the variance down to 2 feet, and you've got the wonderful glass, and everyone can appreciate nature, but you're putting in a 200,000 square foot ballroom in there, or like the president is, and stuff like that. I just want to know kind of what other programmatic things may have been driving how far out you want this
We
variance.
just simply because the deck now covers and buries the current basement. People want to leave. They want to get out of there. We want it to be a destination where people hang out and enjoy the beauty. You cannot do that now. They just want to leave and come upstairs. And this is a large house that sleeps 23 or 4 people if we use all the bedrooms. And we want them to enjoy it wherever they are. And currently, the basement is a dungeon. You know.
Well, you've answered my question. I thank you. I just
Sure.
letting you
I
know where
appreciate
I was
the
coming
questions.
from. You probably weren't going to put the ballroom in, but, you know,
We are
indoor
going to
swimming
gild
pool or
it
something.
with
Oh, you are you?
gold
Okay, with
and
gold, okay.
chandeliers.
Well, of course.
I have 2 more questions. So this new room, what activities are going to be held in this new room? Are you going to add
It's-
more beds to this room?
No, it's just basically a sitting room
Okay.
because there'll be a lot of glass, so you can't put things up in front of it. But a place just to hang out and
No more
be
beds?
satisfied by.
No more beds? 'Cause you
No,
just-
no,
okay,
no,
you've
sir, no
already
more
said you've got
beds.
23
No.
pet
I mean, I
beds in that
suspect
room.
kids will sleep on the floor, you know.
And which
youth
leads me
groups.
to my next question. If you have 20, 25 people sleeping in that house, what kind of occupancy permit do you have for them?
I think it's 25.
You think, okay, we should check that.
Yeah, yeah. So we're not adding any more sleeping space, just trying to create the current
That's a lot
sleeping
of people
space.
in a house.
Complement
25
it.
people.
What's that?
That's a lot of people. in a
Well, it's
house.
fun. It's a
No, I'm
riot.
sure it's a lot
I
of
mean,
fun.
this is one of the
That's
few
a lot of-
houses that accepts youth groups and pets.
No, I appreciate all that,
yeah.
but you hinted around to smoke and danger, you kind of, as part of your remarks. And that's why I got a little concerned.
Sure, sure.
About
No, we are very
23.
concerned about making it as safe as possible
Okay.
and alerting
I think
people
we
to the
should
fact that they can get out and where they can get
No,
out. We've
I
been-
agree 100%.
Yeah.
That was my concern, that they put more sleeping bags in that room and cots. That's a concern of mine.
Well, we're not going to let that exceed the occupancy because that's a tragedy you'd have to bear for the rest of your
Right.
life.
I think we need to check the occupancy permit.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if there's any like concerns that we have about the hardships that are in front of us, and particularly the hardship issues and other issues relating to the findings of fact, and trying to see what is it that, where are we in the findings of fact? I'd like to try to focus our attention there. And I would ask a question about a finding of fact. First of all, really love that you guys are offering this. For 25 years, we've had our house rented to youth groups. So I appreciate that and appreciate what you're doing. And the stewardship thing is dear to my heart, so thank you that you guys do that. I feel like our primary focus is not to discuss so much the space, or it's really the variance, and that's what we're here about. And so I wanted to focus on particularly, we have this book, and this is called Quasi-Judicial Handbook, and this has been kind of our Bible, so to speak, to help us understand the findings of fact relating to variances. And so I just would like to read just a couple of sentences here. It says that the hardship must be peculiar to the property, not to the property owner. It says hardships resulting from personal circumstance may not be the basis for granting a variance.
Would you read that again?
Okay, so I'll read that again. Hardship must be peculiar to the property, not the property owner. Hardships resulting from personal circumstances may not be the basis for granting a variance. And so it says, you know, there's a more full explanation of that. But this is one of the things that is always it's the sticking point for everybody. There are other things that are important in this findings of fact, but this hardship, I could argue that some very large percentage of houses in Montreat, mine would be one of them, are cut into hillsides, and it's a cave down below. That would certainly be true of my own house, and we've had problems with it, darkness, and we want light. Everybody wants light when you cut a building into it. So you could say that that is not particular to your property, because that exists in many other properties as well, especially in steeply sloped properties. So I'm having a hard time seeing how this is a hardship that is peculiar to your property. And that the personal circumstances of it being dark and being difficult to, people want to get out of there to get up to a better place that's not dark. I certainly understand that. That seems to me, or at least I'd like for you to help me think about how that is not a personal circumstance when so many of the other houses, maybe even around you, but certainly throughout Montreat, have that issue as well. So that'd be helpful for me.
It is that it's has to be cut into the mountain, and that squeezes it. And so it's not that there's only one house in Montreat that could qualify because of such a hardship. Yours would be a similar hardship, but it'd be unique to the topography and the boundaries and the size of your lot.
But not unique to Montreat, which is what we're trying to look at.
That's right. It's to the lot.
Yeah.
And so some lots in Montreat are like a lot of other lots. Many aren't. And so when it's not, that gets you past that hardship barrier. And so you should be able to get past that hardship barrier. They should be able to get by that hardship barrier. And one of the things that's really helped the boards of adjustment through the years is when you're on the fence and they've got all these neighbors, Montreat neighbors will complain if they got a complaint. And nobody's complaining. It does make it easier. You're not really worried about somebody else being harmed by that improvement.
It's a very compelling case, especially the green space in front. Nobody's being harmed by that. I'm a stickler for what I'm reading here about how hardship must be established. So that's what I'm focusing on.
One thing that's really helped is that there was a point in time that if there was a hardship, you couldn't make an exception. It says, no, you can't do that. And so when they lightened up a little bit, they let common sense come in. Okay, well, but common sense, why would we deny it? And so that it helps you with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would it be appropriate to move to approve the variance application?
Yes, I think it would. Are there any, well, I just want,
You need to use your microphone, Bill.
I would like to make sure that there's not anything outstanding that anybody needs to ask. Could we give just a second for that, Bill, before any other? Okay. And Bill, it's going to be hard to make, I just want to say these motions are really difficult because they're complicated. They're 6-part motions. We want to make sure we're
I think we can make
focusing
a motion as to the whole, which is what I do.
Okay.
I think Brandon wants to say something.
Just before the board moves to deliberation and entertaining motions, it looks like we've got 8 members for a 7-member board. Can we identify for the record who the alternate member is? Okay. There are 2 alternates. So are both serving as alternates today, or is one participating and one serving as an alternate?
I think they're both serving.
So we can only have 7 members because it's a 7-member board, so we can't have 8.
I see.
As an alternate, can I move that we just use the better-looking one as serving?
Do we need to make that as a motion?
No, we just need to identify.
Yeah. Okay, so the motion is the better-looking one? Okay.
Done deal.
All right. I mean, I don't know how that's going to fly, but we'll go with that.
Sure you want to vote on that?
Okay, so you will not vote.
I will not vote.
Okay, that's clear.
So Arrington Cox will be serving as the alternate.
Better-looking one.
Yeah, and the other alternate will just be observing.
Okay, Bill.
I move that the variance be approved.
Okay.
Application be approved.
Oh, can actually, there is.
Dadgum lawyers.
So the 7-person board, we need
6.
6 votes. Yeah.
Someone's going to get a bill.
Sorry. Sorry. That.
Maybe 2 people are going to get a bill.
No.
I Right here.
Yeah, it's one of the most difficult things we do as a Board of Adjustment is come up with a motion on a variance because it's a complicated idea to point to the data in your application and to reference that data and then to come up with a 6-point motion is complicated.
Okay. He wants me to read the exact thing, so.
Awesome.
I move that the board approve the variance.
Just closer.
Yep. I move the board approve the variance request for 536 Calvin Trail to 501.81 of the Montreat zoning ordinance to reduce the setback requirement from 15 feet to 2 feet on the southern side of the subject property for the purpose of expanding the existing dwelling on the subject property.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
Thank you very much. And those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. So the motion carries, as I understand it. 6 in favor, 1 against. The motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We're grateful for your coming back again.
No problem, thank you.
Here are your pictures.
You might need one. Thank you, guys. Okay, we're moving to the second variance, which is before us tonight. It is nighttime. Let's see here.
Okay, are we?
So this is for 438 Kentucky Road. Mr. Philip Jung.
We're on 428 South Carolina.
428 South Carolina.
Oh, I'm,
Thank you, 428 South Carolina.
Yeah.
This would be Albert and Lucy Robinson property, doing construction. Alexis, would you
sure.
present your
Absolutely.
data, please?
Yeah, if you could pull up the, fantastic, great. A variance request was submitted by Ewing Construction, or Ewing? Not sure if, I apologize to the company for botching the name. On behalf of property owners Albert and Lucy Robinson for the lot addressed as 428 South Carolina Terrace, Montreat, North Carolina 28711, and described as PIN number 0720170834000000, located on South Carolina Terrace. The variance request is to section 501.5 of the minimum front yard of the Montreat zoning ordinance to reduce the front setback requirements from 30 feet to 20 feet on the western side of the subject property for the purpose of building a single-family residential dwelling. Next slide, please. The subject property contains an existing single-family dwelling. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing dwelling to build a new single-family dwelling. The current zoning is R1, and it's 0.53 acres. Next slide, please. The variance is to section 501.5 of the Montreat zoning ordinance, and it's to reduce the front setback requirement on the western side of the subject property from 30 feet to 20 feet. As you can see, the typical R1 setback is 30 feet for the front, and the side setbacks are 15 feet, and the rear is 35. Next slide, please. The existing home is highlighted in yellow. The corner of the proposed porch will encroach 10 feet into the front setback, requiring a reduction from 30 feet to 20 feet. The retaining wall on the southern part of the property is permitted to encroach into the setbacks per the zoning ordinance. Okay. Next slide, please. The subject property fronts on South Carolina Terrace. It is surrounded on 3 sides by the R1 residential district with a woodland district to the east. There appears to be a vacant residential parcel to the north, a single family to the south, woodland to the east, and a vacant residential parcel and single-family homes to the west. Next slide, please. Thank you. The slope of the subject property per the Buncombe County Steep Slope Calculator is 51.84%. The subject property slopes upwards from north to south. The subject property would be subject to the Hillside Development Ordinance. There are no streams or special flood hazard areas on the property. Next slide, which I will not read, because you guys are all aware. So with that, this concludes my presentation.
Okay, could we have the applicant come forward and make their, be sworn in and then make your presentation, please?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Good evening. My name is Jason Gilland with Site Design Studio, representing both Ewing Construction and the property owners.
Thank you, Mr. Gillen.
I'll try to keep this brief and just talk about facts. We have an existing structure. It encroaches both the front setback and the south or side setback. Those existing setback distances are currently 16.2 feet from the front and 9.2 feet from the south or side setback. So we have an existing structure that was built, I think 1920s or maybe even before, so we have a 100-plus-year-old structure here. Their desire is to demo that structure versus renovate it. There's several concerns about those renovations. And in doing so, we are able to locate the entirety of the new structure outside of all setbacks, with the exception of the front porch. We may not be here requesting a front setback, however, that front porch is covered. And so with that, we have limitations on, I think there's a 3 or 4 foot threshold that with decks and steps, you can encroach into setbacks at an administrative level. But since this is covered, we cannot do that. So we are locating the new structure entirely off the side setback, which is really close currently in adjacent to their neighbor. So we're pulling that structure to the north, and even doing that with the new footprint of the house, we're able to pull it 3.1 feet off the front setback. So our request is actually less than what exists today.
This setback.
Our variance request is less than
It
what
encroaches less than what exists today.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep. So that's essentially the facts. We are not touching the driveway, any of the retaining walls associated with that driveway. We're keeping the older steps coming up from the roadway to the lower level. There might be some demo to a portion of that, but those are going to be able to access the lower level. So essentially, we're trying to demo and replace essentially in place and improve upon current conditions. And that's what we're proposing. So I'll go through those 6 questions. In the absence of this request, we'd be limited to renovating the existing structure and in requesting a variance that exceeds what we're currently requesting. The hardship is peculiar because we're requesting less than what exists. And again, due to some very steep topography, but we're able to keep grading and retaining walls all on property. The current condition was not created by the current owner, and we're doing our best to improve that. It's consistent with the spirit, we believe. It's the minimum we feel like we could request. We could be requesting more on the front based on existing condition, and also a side yard setback, which we are not. And this is a permitted use on this parcel. If anybody has any questions or would like to pull up an existing exhibit, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Would you stay there for a minute and let us see if we have any questions we need to address? Questions for Mr. Gillen?
You referred to something about something was being covered you couldn't get to in your opening remarks?
Yeah, if you were to build the foundation for the house, all that foundation associated with that house is outside of setbacks. So if we had no decks or porches, we wouldn't be here. The portion that we're requesting the variances is a covered deck or porch.
Okay.
Because it's covered, we're here because that roof is considered a part of the structure.
And that's
If it was an open deck and we only encroach 3 or 4 feet, we would not be here. But we obviously have a 10-foot encroachment.
because of the deck.
Correct.
I got it. Got it.
Is the deck closed, enclosed,
Yes.
or is it open?
It is covered, but I don't believe, it's not screened or enclosed.
It's not a four-season room.
Correct. It's just a covered porch, if you will.
Mr. Gillen, in looking at this property and seeing on the north side or the northeast side, there's very steep gradations going up. Contour maps show that. But it did appear to me that it might be possible to move that house back to the north. Is that possible? To limit the encroachment into the front setback?
So the retaining wall uphill of the house is 10 feet.
Is that return, that exists right now, that retaining wall?
So no, we are creating a new 10-foot retaining wall uphill of the house.
You're right.
And we're maximizing our slope,
Yeah.
so we don't encroach off property. So
Could you move that retaining wall back and make it a higher retaining wall?
We could, but, our structural engineers are advising us that not to in this particular location based on the geotech report, which is also required as part of the hillside development ordinance.
I do see some very high retaining walls in Montreat as part of our experience. Any other questions?
You said that there were some problems with the existing house as far as renovating?
Yeah, there's some concerns with the structural integrity of what was built over 100 years ago. And so to get in there and renovate and shore those concerns up, it's just the client's desire to demo the existing structure and build new, and also get it outside of those setbacks as much as we can. So that's the desire here.
Thank you.
So they're building a new house so they can have a new porch? Are they building a new house so they can have a new porch?
Primarily a new house, yes. This is a very small cottage structure with very short ceilings, and the flow and how we live today is much different than 100-plus years ago, and the porch will be nice, but that's not the primary desire.
Okay.
Question, is it a single story?
It's two-story, main and lower.
Okay.
Need to use the microphone.
Follow up?
No, I'm just trying, I'm trying to picture your house. The road is going to be way up there. But that's aesthetics. You know,
Well,
everybody has an opinion.
the lower portion of this house is the same finished floor elevation as the existing.
So you're building on top.
No, it's currently a two-story structure,
Okay.
And the
gotcha.
lower level's the same, and it's actually no different.
Okay.
Going back to the hardship portion of it, the hardship that you are recognizing in here is that you want to tear down the original house to build a new one.
No, the hardship is the existing setbacks.
Except that you'll still be within the setback, but you just won't be as much.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, correct. We are desiring to improve that setback encroachment. So.
Could you say what that improvement is, please, again?
Yeah, the front setback is currently, the existing structure is 16.2. We are
For a
moving.
30-foot setback, is that right?
Correct. And we are requesting 20. So we are pushing our new structure off the road an additional almost 4 feet.
Yeah.
And we are encroaching, we're within 9 feet of the south setback, and we are completely removing that encroachment altogether. So we will be within the 15-foot setback. So no variance request on the side yard setback.
Any other questions for Mr. Gillen? Okay, we'd be glad to have you sit down. Do the property owners, do the Robinsons have anything to add or anything you would like to?
No, I think he's covered it very well.
Okay, okay. I don't know that we need to go into deliberation. I think we're probably okay to receive a motion. Is anybody like to?
Mr. Chair, before you do, I would make sure that there's no one else in the audience who.
Oh, yeah,
wishes to
any
speak.
other person? Oh, I'm sorry, there you are. I didn't see you before, sorry. Ms. Thielman, could you come forward and state your name and tell us why you're here? And then get sworn in?
You
Sarah Thielman.
have to be sworn in.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking for you and I couldn't see you were hidden back there. Could you bring that? Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry.
Because I thought you were just asking for, I'm not used to these meetings, but I thought you were just
We're having a
taking
hard time
questions
hearing
from the
you,
board.
Ms. Thielman. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Thank you.
I will yell. Okay. I'm here not because of the variance, and so I don't know if I actually can ask these questions, but I'm here because we live right below the Robinsons, and sorry, I can't think. Anyway, we live right below the Robinsons, and although there may not be a flood issue on the property after the flood, you cannot walk across that part of South Carolina without getting a lot of water on yourself, on your feet, everything. It was just pouring across there, and it came pouring down the mountain behind our house. So I'm just concerned. The gentleman mentioned the geotech report, and I assume that has something to do with whether or not the mountain can stand that kind of thing, the excavation that will be involved. That just concerns me too, because of the potential to destabilize everything. And retaining walls are great, but I think we've seen all these huge boulders that the storm washed down. Fortunately, the mountain did not fall down on us this last time. But I just don't feel like that's something you can count on. Anyway, all that said, this is nothing personal toward the Robinsons at all. They were lovely people, and I did call Toppy and leave her a message. But we just want to make sure everything is being done to make sure that everything is stable, that the amount of runoff is not, so much worse. We already have tons of it. Is there going to be some effort made to channel it off into I don't know what direction you would take it in. We're all down there below, there's the stream. Hopefully you could get it to the stream, although that, gets fuller and fuller. Anyway, if that's a question, I don't know. I'm just concerned about all those different things.
Could you speak to the HMO and the stormwater requirements for this lot?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, do you mind if I jump in just
Yes,
with
please.
a couple of things?
Yes.
First, I just want to remind the board that whenever you hear testimony or talk about things like geotech or the effectiveness of a retaining wall, things like those, remember that a lot of times that evidence must be given by someone who is a credentialed engineer, who's someone who can tell you what their qualifications are.
Oh, yes, very
And they have
helpful.
to give expert testimony. So unfortunately, the board is not allowed to consider layperson testimony on those very technical issues. Remember that when projects like this are approved, that they still have to go through all stormwater processes, right? So even if this is approved, it will still have to meet all requirements of the Montreat Stormwater Ordinance, which will look at things like how is that water handled on the property and how is that water discharged from the property. That's not something that happens here, but it is something that will happen at the administrative level after staff. Now, with all that said, Mr. Gilliam may want to talk to the board a little about what he's doing to manage water on the process, on this property, or what the plan is. But I do want to remind the board that really that testimony has to come from an expert.
Thank you. And how about the hillside management ordinance?
That is another administrative process. So if this is approved, the hillside development ordinance will be applied and it will have to be accounted for on this property.
Do you have, excuse me just a second, do you have anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, I was actually hoping that Mr. Gilliam could respond to the geotech thing. 'Cause
I can't hear anything you're saying.
Okay, right, because I turned away. We'll try not to do that. I was hoping that Mr. Gilliam could respond to my question about the geotech report and what that involves and how that could help us understand what's going on with the mountain.
Legally required
Yeah.
to, but
Okay.
he may.
Well,
Mr. Gilliam, would you like to respond to that?
Sure.
And
should I?
Ms. Thielman, you can have a seat.
Oh, yeah, sure.
As I mentioned before, because the steep slope hillside regulations, geotech is required. We're actually more concerned about rock on this site and not unstable soils. So the results of that will inform the structural engineer for foundation requirements for the structure. That is independent and different from stormwater management. The impervious surface on this site, we're not increasing it above a threshold that it may or may not require stormwater with the standards. If it does, we will address it. Also, the way we handle roof gutters and things of that nature, different from the existing structure, is also going to improve the current situation. I have also been on South Carolina Terrace during heavy rains at this site. The majority of the drainage contribution along that road is not necessarily from our site. So there's some off-site contributions that are, contributing to what everybody sees on that, but not directly associated with this piece of property.
Thank you.
But yes, anything that is required, we will address.
Great. Maybe you could remain standing for a question?
No, I have a question for our town attorney.
Okay.
So, for your information.
Before I answer that, Mr. Gilliam, if you don't mind for me, do you mind for the record to state your credentials?
Yes, I'm a landscape architect in the state of North Carolina and other states. Contrary to popular belief, we do a lot of civil engineering aspects based on state statute. I am qualified to do stormwater management plans. I do them in Montreat. I've done 10 or 12 homes in here over the past 3 or 4 years. I've been before this board, maybe not you as individuals. So, yeah, I practice this on a daily basis.
Thank you.
And have you been certified as an expert in this area previously in front of this board or another board like it?
Yes.
I have a question. You are with UE Construction?
No, I'm with Site Design Studio. I'm vice president of Site
Okay.
Design Studio. We are a consultant that works on many projects with Ewing Construction over the past handful of years. But I'm here representing their application and the homeowners.
In Ewing Construction, a South Carolina-based company?
No, they are not. They're located here in Black Mountain.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have a question for the town attorney. In terms of process, do we, the question I have for the town attorney is, in terms of process, do we need to give an approval first before, if we give an approval, and then the hillside, and then the water management people would act on that? Or do they approve that and then bring it back to us with those approvals?
That's a great question. There's a delay.
You were on.
I think it is working. That's a great question. The way it would work is the variance can be considered and granted or denied at this hearing. If it is granted, then those other issues are handled administratively. They are handled by town staff.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we're good. Let's move forward. Is there a motion? Would anybody like to place a motion before us?
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move that the Board of Adjustment approve the variance request for the property at 428 South Carolina Terrace, Montreat, North Carolina. This variance request is to reduce the front setback requirements from 30 feet to 20 feet on the western side of the subject property for the purpose of building a single-family resident dwelling.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
You have a question?
Yeah, we have discussion on the motion.
Need second.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second, so we move to vote.
Oh,
Discussion.
Can we move to discuss the motion or not?
There can be discussion of the motion.
So, just so I understand, if we wouldn't consider it tonight, yea or nay, tabled it, could they then go to the, reverse that process, go to Hillside, get an approval, go to the water management, get an approval, then come back to us? No, has to be.
That's right.
Okay, has to start here.
That's
with
right. The
approval.
process is after you have your entitlement to build your project,
Okay, fine.
you can go and
Then,
talk
yeah,
to
okay.
town staff and they can apply the ordinance to your approved project.
Any other discussion? A motion, a second, and those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Gillum and the Robinson family. Thank you. We come now to our third variance this evening. Yes, 5-minute break, 6:30. We'll start promptly at 6:30.
Say something?
take a seat, please? Can we take a seat, please?
We need to, but he, Josh asked we try to get through this because he's got a late
So funny, because they asked the question at the
Hey, folks, we need to bring this to our attention to the next item of our business tonight, which is a variance request for 438 Kentucky Road. Mr. Shy? Mr. Shy is not shy.
Interviewing the voice.
Yes, okay, so we're now bringing before us, let's see, what do we need to do here? We need to we need to hear a presentation of the case from our interim zoning administrator.
Should I swear in for each one, or was it fine to, would you like me to swear in for this one? Should I swear in for this?
I'll just remind the zoning administrator that she is already under oath. You're okay.
You are.
I'm okay? All right.
You are
I just
well
want to make sure.
ready.
Great. All right. A variance request was submitted by Philip Jung, property owner for the lot addressed as 438 Kentucky Road, Montreat, North Carolina 28711, and described as PIN number 072008906800000, located on Kentucky Road. The variance request is to section 501.5, minimum front setback of the Montreat zoning ordinance to reduce the front setback requirement from 30 feet to 19 feet on the western side of the subject property along Kentucky Road, and to section 501.81, minimum side yard, to reduce the side setback requirements from 15 feet to 5.8 feet on the southern side of the subject property for the purpose of expanding the existing dwelling on the subject property. Next slide, please. The subject property contains an existing single-family dwelling. Again, the applicant requests a variance for the purpose of expanding a single-family home. The size of the property is 0.53 acres. Next slide, please. Again, the variance is to section 501.5 to reduce the front setback requirement on the western side of the subject property from 30 feet to 19 feet, and to section 501.81 to reduce the southern setback to 5.8 feet. So the requirement for R1 for the front is 30 feet, and for the sides are 15 feet. And this is a double-fronted lot as well. Next slide, please. I want you to, the areas in gray are the proposed encroachments, but please keep in mind that this is not oriented to the north, so you can kind of see where I wrote in the cardinal directions. The current house encroaches in the right-of-way and is legally non-conforming. The applicant seeks to reduce the 15-foot setback to 5 feet 10 inches, or 5.8 feet, and the south side of the property from 30 feet setback to 19 feet. Next slide, please. The subject property fronts on Kentucky Road and South Carolina Terrace. It is surrounded on all sides by an R1 residential district. The property is surrounded by single-family residential structures. The vacant property to the north actually has a home on it. Next slide. The slope of the subject property per the Buncombe County steep slope calculator is 25.05%. So it is not subject to the hillside development ordinance, but it slopes upward from the southwest to northeast. There are no stream or special flood hazard areas on the property.
Excuse me, just a question of clarification. 9638, I can't read that. I can't see where the building exists. Is it the grayed out area? It's confusing to me.
Yeah, it's probably, that is just kind of how it showed up. I would not take it as truth that that's where that actual structure is.
Okay.
But the contours should be correct.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Next slide, please. And this is where I will end my presentation.
Okay. Could we have those who would like to bring in sworn testimony, and the applicant could come forward and share with us?
Mr. Chair, I forgot to ask this for the previous hearings. We ended up doing it out of order. Is anyone here to speak in opposition or to request standing? I think you can move forward.
Okay. Would you please be sworn in and then come and introduce yourself and make your presentation?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Well, good evening.
Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is John Yurko. I'm a licensed architect in the state of North Carolina and serving for Mr. Jung on this project. Let's see, I've had my firm here locally for 35 years, done many projects in Montreat, although this is my first time as a variance applicant. My firm did the interiors of this building as a consultant to Mr. Hurt. So we've got a lot of history up here. The applicant's property was mislabeled, I think, on the document you showed as .53 acres. And we have a survey here that shows it's .25 acres. I want to make that clear.
Thank you. That's helpful. I couldn't
it's
imagine
relevant
it.
to our some of the points we hope to make. It's a small lot. It's an 80-foot wide lot with the setbacks that leaves us about 50 feet of buildable area. If you recall the slide, and maybe we put it back up to recall, but the house was built askew to the setbacks. Imagine a rectangle where the setbacks are parallel to the side yard property line, and the building sits askew. Now, when we first took this on, we took a look at why that is, and the best we could determine is that, like a lot of homes on Kentucky Road and in Montreat, the existing topography uphill and the presence of bedrock made it difficult at that time in the 80s when this house was built to put it anywhere except askew. So the front porch and the right side, as you're facing the building, already encroaches on the setback on the front it encroaches by about 10 feet, and on the side it encroaches by I'd say about 5 feet, but that's noted on the drawing in our application. So we looked at a number of different solutions, and obviously one of them we looked at and rejected quickly was to lift the house and move it back, and that just is prohibited because of the topography. So because of this narrow and small postage stamp lot, the building that exists is vertical. It's 2.5 stories. It's a basement with a garage and a rec room, living space on the main floor, and an upper floor. And that's in response to just a very limited building area. Of the 0.25 acres, only about the front half is buildable because of topography and bedrock. So here we are with a challenge to try and meet the current needs of the owner. I think it's fair to say that a lot of the homes on Kentucky Road face similar challenges, which is why we see so many homes with the face closer than 30 feet. Their primary need is for circulation into their home. Right now there's a single car garage, and our proposed solution is to pull the garage forward to deepen it, to make it, which results in our encroachment on the front yard, and to widen that single-car garage so that we can get 2 compact cars in that garage and room to put an elevator in. This is a move towards aging in place for their continued enjoyment of their home. So the resulting dimensions in that garage dictate that compact cars are really all we can use in there. I guess I've explained the design process that we've gone through, but they're all designed to address the inherent hardship on this lot, which is that it's a small buildable area with only about half of the depth of the lot being buildable. The existing building sits askew and already encroaches, and so we feel that the encroachments we're asking for, while they result in more encroachment than the existing encroachments, they are in the spirit of the way the original house was built, in that they the encroachment isn't significantly greater than the existing. Most of our request for expansion is towards the front, and that was largely due to the need to address vehicular circulation with the topography, but also with runoff. We are increasing the impervious surface with this by about 18%. So stormwater management runoff is a concern, and we have in the existing driveway is a drop inlet where his runoff is collected and then distributed to the infrastructure on the street. So we feel that impact is minimal. So again, to summarize, it's a very challenging small site. Our requests for expansions are modest, and we have received endorsement and no resistance at all by the neighbor that we would most affect with this expansion to the side. Lila, sorry, I should know that. Whose own residence comes within, I think, 4 feet or so of that common property line. So I'm available for questions. I think Mr. Jung would like to have a word if you don't have any questions, but otherwise.
Yes, could we just...
I want to hear everything first.
Okay.
I mean, up to the board.
Yeah, let's have Mr. Young come forward, and
Okay.
he can be sworn in, and then we'll address questions to either of you.
I'm sorry, sworn.
Oh, okay, good.
Thank y'all for hearing us. Montreat is in my blood, I'll be honest with you. I came here as a 5-year-old. My parents were commissioned as missionaries in '52, and so we came to Montreat then. My wife, her parents were commissioned as missionaries in '56. Both of us went to the Congo, and Montreat's in our blood. We love to come to Montreat. I spent summers here as a teenager. My mother managed the mission building. And then I came to the Christian Life Conference. I don't know if y'all remember that. I came for probably 35 years to that same conference. I've attended the 4th of July parade probably 50 times because the conference was always around the 4th of July weekend. So Montreat is sort of home to me. You know, and the house that we're talking about at 438 Kentucky Road, I've been visiting there as a company, as not a customer,
Guest.
but as a guest for probably the last 30 years. And we've owned it for 13 years. My wife and I, my current wife and I own it for 13 years. So we're looking to retire. We'd like to retire here, but we'd like to modify the house some to make a bigger bedroom, a bigger kitchen. We would be putting in an elevator because, as you can see, we're getting kind of old here. You know, but that's the reason we're asking for this variance. The difficulty, I think, or the hardship, is primarily the fact that the lot is like this, but the house is set askewed to it, so it's already in violation. And we did talk to Lila about the closeness to her, and I think when I measured it out and set out where we were looking at doing it, and her carport is within 2 or 3 feet of my property line, but I think from the new wall to the roof of her carport would still be close to 9 feet. And she had no real objection to that. You know, so, but we did meet with her. And Lila's been a wonderful neighbor to us. We love Lila, and we like Dick too, before he left to go home. So we're just asking that you approve this variance so we can know what we can do to make this house more a retirement home.
Thank you,
So-
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe you could remain standing. Any questions? Yes, please.
Mr. Young, I know that Lila's in Highland Farms. Has she actually seen, or she just heard? Has she seen what's going to happen?
Yes, ma'am. She came up with Jackson as the man that drives her
Right.
around, and she wanted to know about it. So he pulled up into the driveway, and we explained it to her. I showed her the drawing of it, just to be sure that that it was okay with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a pretty large request for a variance in terms
Okay.
of both sides, I mean, especially in the lot that we're dealing with, in terms of the size of the lot. So you say you're trying to make this for retirement, which I
Yes, sir.
appreciate. Have you considered doing any improvements to the existing structure, larger bedroom, update the kitchen, elevator?
Yeah, well, that's why we hired Mr. Yurko as our architect, to be sure that we could do what we're talking about doing.
No, I mean to the existing structure.
Yeah, he looked at the existing structure, and we had a survey made, so we know exactly what we were talking about. And in fact, he had to get a structural engineer to size the beams to hold up the wall of the house on what I consider the west side. I think it's sort of the southwest side.
Okay. Are you increasing the square footage of the house?
A little bit, yes.
By how much? Just the garage. Just the garage. So the living space is remaining the same?
No.
Maybe you should come up and answer these questions.
In addition to that, I've been looking at this drawing, and it's difficult for me to make sense of what we're talking about here. I'm wondering if we could have that drawing put back up there, and maybe you could help us identify what is being asked.
Yeah, unfortunately, Josh had to leave, but
Okay.
it should be in your packet.
Yeah, I mean, I've got this up here, this. I don't know what other way we can do that, but if you could help us.
I would turn to the last page. It's on the very last page in your packet.
Here's a full-size drawing of it.
It's in the very last page of your packet.
Last page of your packet? Okay.
Okay, so the green.
Yes.
Sorry. The green rectangle is the existing home. Okay? The yellow triangle is the yellow triangle and the green sit behind the existing front yard setback. So the green, with respect to the front yard setback, the green and the yellow are in compliance with the current 30-yard setback, 30-foot setback. The gray, that gray to the right and then kind of a pointed, that's the net result of our ask of variance relief, okay? To the rear, this upper rear corner is the part of the green that does encroach on the existing side yard setback. So the building encroaches on the side yard setback by 5 feet on the side, and I'd say about 6 or 7 feet, just looking at it in scale, on the front. There's a front porch, this piece in the middle of the green or of the yellow is the front porch, and that encroaches on the front yard setback. So it's really the gray shape that represents the relief we're asking for.
How much is that in square footage?
The square footage of it?
Of the ask?
I don't have that calculation
Is that one
with
floor
me.
or two floors?
Or it's on here, but it's too small to read at this scale. I could pull it up on my iPad and tell you.
And Mr. Chair, I would say that my understanding of how this works is the footprint when you're dealing with these setbacks. So the height and the overall square footage is I don't think the relevant figure. The relevant figure is closeness to that line.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Is this interior space? Is it an exterior space?
So that's a good question. So this right third of the green rectangle is an existing garage.
Yes.
So the gray expands the depth of the garage towards the front yard and a bit to the side to make it a two-car garage. Okay, so that
Yes.
this width of the gray is a two-car garage.
Yes. Yes.
That width is garage.
That's 7 inch.
And then to the left of the garage is interior living space?
So, yes, so this is a basement rec room with, it's got a few windows that are up high like a basement would have, but this is a kind of a dark rec room. It's got little tables there.
Is the addition on the yellow part where this question is the gray? Is that, what is, I think,
The addition on this yellow part here, is that additional living space, interior living space? From to the right, to the left of the garage? Yes. Okay. I'm sorry to ask this question. It was just very difficult to make sense of this in the packet.
Can you hear?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, the yellow represents additions to this project, this proposed project. What's in yellow is in compliance because it's behind the setback.
Yeah.
That midsection will be heated living space. The section to the left corner, that is a porch, unheated. And then there will be an expansion of the master bedroom that's over this garage addition. So yes, it results in about, it's about 400 square feet of increased living space on the middle or the main floor above the garage.
That's helpful. Any other questions or to be addressed to the applicant or the owner?
You mentioned in your presentation, presentation was for the current needs of the owner. Is that correct?
Yes,
That was your
it is.
expression, current
Yes.
needs of the owner.
Current needs of the owner.
Okay. Can you go a little more into that? Because I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
Sure, okay.
If I can interrupt, I just want to point out to the board that personal circumstances aren't really something you should be considering. I think that they can give that for context. But really, what you should be looking for is the hardship.
Well, that's what
And I think what they're saying is they've got this house, and the way it is set on their property with the topography is any expansion is going to cause a setback. And so I think it's up to the board to think, does that meet the hardship standard?
That's absolutely correct. The project was born out of the need. We have two people in this family, both have cars. They would like to have a place to park undercover. From there, they need to circulate vertically, so finding room for an elevator to make that happen was the catalyst for the project. As we looked for different options, it became clear that the only way to do this reasonably was to go this route with the variance. As to whether that program need is a hardship is debatable, because the argument could be, well, you can park outside, and the need of an elevator is not really a hardship from a land planning standpoint.
I'm sorry, just while we're on that point, can I jump in? I'm sorry to interrupt so much, but I do have something relevant from the School of Government I want to share. As an applicant's personal circumstances cannot be the basis for denying the okay, I'm sorry. Okay, this is an article talking about hardships, and it says that the board cannot grant a cannot grant a variance because of someone's personal circumstances. They also say the reverse is true. If an applicant's personal circumstances cannot be the basis for denying a variance, the board should consider the property, not the applicant's bank account and ability to cover the costs of the hardship.
Right.
Moreover, the fact that the applicant owns, never mind, that's not relevant.
Cost and hardship are two different things.
Right.
I mean, totally.
Yeah, having served 3 terms on the Buncombe County Board of Adjustment, I've heard every angle on hardship that you can hear, and have attended the School of Government seminars and read the quasi-judicial handbook. So we feel sympathetic to the burden of proof on our side for hardship. But to restate it, the hardship is really a matter of existing conditions that many folks in Montreat deal with. Topography, building area, the net effect on the town as a whole, whether it's stormwater or density or proximity to the road, they're all challenges that are taken on successfully or otherwise. In our case, we feel like the relative small size of the lot and the topographical restraints on the rear compel us to seek remedy towards the front, which is what we're doing. We feel like the ask is reasonably low impact. It's an expansion of what is already existing, which is a front-facing garage door. We propose to make that wider, but it's still a garage door. We don't propose to change any of the antiquated or mature vegetation, stone retaining walls, some of the features to the front of the house that are, I'm sure, coveted on the street. That's our hardship.
Thank you.
Explained.
Any other questions?
I've got one more thing to read from the School of Government. So one thing that has been mentioned is that this is something that is faced throughout Montreat. I think that's an issue that came up in a previous hearing tonight. So I just want to read this. This is about hardships that are peculiar to a property. Unnecessary hardships must be peculiar to the property, not general to the neighborhood or community. Such peculiar characteristics might arise, for example, from the location of the property, size or shape of the lot, or topography, or water features on site. And here's the example they give. Imagine a lot that narrows dramatically towards the front, where the side yard setbacks prohibit the property owner from building an addition. The hardship, not being allowed to build an addition, flows from the strict application of the ordinance, the setback, and is peculiar to the property because of the shape of the lot. A variance may be appropriate if the owner presents evidence that shows she meets all of the standards. By contrast, a variance is not the appropriate remedy for a condition or hardship that is shared by the neighborhood of the community. The example they give, however, is a narrowing lot if all of the houses on the street share that same narrowing feature. So when you're dealing with lots that are different from one another, I'm not sure it fits within this example, but I think that that's an area ripe for the board's discussion. But I believe that the School of Government's example, if I understand it right, is if all the lots are exactly the same and they all face this same problem, the fix is to adopt a new ordinance. But that, if you can't fix the problem by adopting a simple ordinance that would apply to all lots, a variance is still probably the appropriate remedy. And I hope I'm explaining that clearly.
Super helpful. Thank you. Sure. I read that 2 or 3 times today, but you put it in the right context, so thank you.
Does the chairman entertain a motion?
I would.
I move we approve the request.
Okay, can we get a little bit more language on that? Brandon, that's not going to be enough for you, right?
I tell you, I think the board knows what it's approving, as this is the 3rd variance of the night. So unless any members object to the simple motion, then I think we can move forward.
Okay. We
Mr. Chairman,
trust
I
our...
second the motion.
Okay, thank you very much. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed, 6 in favor. The motion carries.
Thank you all. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
consideration.
Thank you all for being here tonight and hanging in there through all this. I'd like to, I think I'm ready for a motion to adjourn. A second? No discussion, not allowing it. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, guys. I think I'm supposed to go, or something like that.
Excellent meeting, Chairman. Take care.
I'm so hungry.
We need to find out if we've got anything going.
Well, I hope you got it. You'll need it after you need it tonight.
No, I had found it.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney. Thank you. That was wonderful. That was
I just, I mean, if they have something, I'll tell them. Well, I mean, they still have to do a zoning compliance, so if that happens, I'll be like, no, you need to put your order.
Good job. Yeah, good to see you. Oh, yeah, we're good. Working our way.
Once the variance has been approved, we can't talk to them.
You remember at the beginning? No. But you remember at the beginning of the meeting? You don't have to do anything, but you have to wait until you've got written order to start going forward.
That'll come.
Yes, it's approved in the next. I think they moved it to the 20th. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Appreciate you pinching in this in a weird community.
So how do we justify
Nice job, Councilman. Oh, nice job, boy. My pleasure.
Good to see you.
There will be times when there was I'm glad to hear you say that, because I have a tendency to do it too. Oh, yeah. But
I'm here till 6
at the
a.m.
same time, you know I'm not going to be here then. In November. I will be having surgery the very day that we're having our next meeting. But anyway, just to finish that up, there will be times when we're just going to have to use our
our sense. And if we can stay on the findings of fact, particularly the hardship one, I think we'll get there.
I think so. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you all.